She was ranked 143. 2 years later, she made a 4-time Grand Slam champion cry inside. Nobody warned Naomi Osaka. Nobody could have. Because what happened to her on a hot Saturday night in Washington was not a tennis match. It was an execution. And by the time it was over, a 21-year-old girl from a country that has never, not once in its entire history, produced a top-level tennis player, had just done something that should not be mathematically possible. 6 games. That is all Osaka won. 6. Against a 4-time major champion. On a hard court. The exact surface where Osaka has never lost a Grand Slam final. And the player standing across the net from her spent 2024 ranked 143rd in the world. Not top 100. Not close to it. 143. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because I am about to show you something almost nobody has pieced together yet. Not a lucky week. Not a hot streak. A pattern. A pattern so specific, so repeated, that when you see it laid out in order, it stops looking like an upset and starts looking like something being built on purpose. And there is a detail buried in the middle of this story, something she did to the exact same opponent, on 2 different continents, with the exact same scoreline, that I promise you will not see coming. Before we get into it, if stories like this one, the outsider, the impossible ranking, the country with no blueprint pulling off something nobody predicted, are the kind of thing that actually moves you, hit subscribe right now. Not for me. For her. Because right now, in real time, we are watching history get written, and most of the world has not caught up yet. If you subscribe, you will be there for the next chapter the moment it happens, and trust me, after what you are about to hear, you are going to want to be. Her name is Alex Eala. Here is the number that explains everything about where she started. On the entire WTA tour, the Philippines has produced exactly 1 player with a singles ranking in the modern era. 1. Out of a nation of over 120 million people. Eala is not the best female tennis player the Philippines has ever had. She is the only one. That means no former champion to call for advice. No federation-built pipeline fast-tracking her onto tour. No one who had already made every mistake so she could skip them. Just a kid who left home as a teenager to train at an academy in Spain, in a language she did not speak yet, betting her entire childhood on a sport her own country barely follows. For years, that bet looked like it might not pay off. In 2024 she was still grinding through Grand Slam qualifying, the tournament, before climbing to a career-high ranking of 143 that July. That is a real achievement. It also happens to be exactly where careers quietly go to die. Ranked between 100 and 200 is the loneliest stretch in professional tennis, too good for the small events to challenge you, not quite good enough for the big ones, flying yourself to secondary tournaments while paying your own coaching bills. Most players who land at 143 never climb higher. And Eala was carrying something extra most of them never have to. Every loss was a national headline, because there was no second Filipina on tour for the pressure to spread across. It all landed on one 20-year-old. Then came Miami, March 2025. She got in on a wild card, essentially a favor. Over the next 7 days she beat Madison Keys, a Grand Slam champion and world number 5. Then she beat Iga Swiatek, one of the greatest players of her generation. Back-to-back top 10 wins, as a wild card. She became the first Filipina to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal. And in that semifinal, against American Jessica Pegula, she got achingly close to something even bigger, before falling in 3 sets. Hold on to that name. Pegula is going to matter again very soon. 3 months later at Eastbourne, she reached her first ever WTA Tour final. 1 match from her first title. She lost that 1-2, in a brutal deciding tiebreak, 7-6, 10. 2 doors. Both times her hand was on the handle. Both times someone closed it on her. So here is the real question buried inside this story, the one that actually decides everything that comes next. Is there a difference between a player who can beat anyone on a good day, and a player who can win a tournament, start to finish, 7 matches in a row, when her legs are dead and the crowd expects it instead of hoping for it? Because those are not the same skill. Not even close. And there was a very real version of this story where Alex Eala becomes tennis's most familiar ghost, the dangerous floater who beats a top 10 name twice a year and never lifts a trophy. Stack onto that one more problem. She is left-handed, and she does not have the one thing that papers over a bad day at the elite level of women's tennis, a monster serve. No easy aces to bail her out. No shortcut. Every single match, she has to solve the puzzle from scratch, from the very first point. By this summer, that was the honest read on her. Enormous talent. 2 finals worth of scar tissue. No escape hatch. And then, over 8 weeks, she stopped being that player completely. It did not start with Osaka. Everyone is going to tell you it did, because that is the headline. It actually started 6 weeks earlier, on a grass court in Birmingham, in front of a few thousand people, at a tournament most casual fans could not name. She won it. Her first tour title. On its own, nice week. But watch what it set off. The very next stop, Berlin, she beat Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina, then beat world number 10 Alina Svitolina, 6-3, 6-4. Then Wimbledon itself, she beat Iga Swiatek again, and became the first Filipino player in the Open era to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam. The president of the Philippines issued her a formal citation for it. A tennis result became a matter of national record. Now here is the detail I promised you. 6 weeks after Berlin, in Washington, on a completely different surface, against a completely different set of conditions, Eala played Svitolina again in the DC quarterfinals. The score, 6-3, 6-4. The identical scoreline. Twice. Against a top 10 player with an entire coaching team and 6 weeks to prepare a rematch specifically designed to stop it from happening again. That is not a coincidence repeating itself by accident. Sit with that for a second, because it is the key to understanding what happened next, and I want you to keep it in your head for the rest of this video. Because the road to Osaka did not start with Osaka. It started 3 rounds earlier, and the order matters more than you think. Round 1, Zheng Qinwen, Olympic gold medalist and former world number 4. Eala lost the first set 4-6. The old story writes itself right there, talented underdog, big name, early exit. Instead she won the second set 6-4, then ran away with the third, 6-1, finishing the match by winning 9 of the last 10 games. 2 hours and 26 minutes. A statement, not a scare. Round 2, Leylah Fernandez, the defending champion of the tournament and the 7th seed, a player who had beaten Eala convincingly just months earlier. Eala took the first set comfortably, 6-2. Then Fernandez roared back, building a 5-1 lead in the second set, 1 game from forcing a decider. And this is the part worth sitting with. This is exactly the moment where the almost version of Alex Eala, the one who lost Miami, the one who lost Eastbourne, was supposed to show up again. Instead, she won 5 straight games to level it at 6-5, then dominated the tiebreak 7-1 to close it out. Quarterfinal, Svitolina, the repeat scoreline, 6-3, 6-4. Semi-final, Naomi Osaka. 4-time major champion. Every one of those majors won on a hard court, the exact surface she was standing on. Eala broke early for a 2-1 lead. Osaka, being Osaka, clawed back to 4-3. And then Eala closed out the first set by winning 3 straight games. Second set, 6-2. Final score, 6-4, 6-2, in a rout that took barely over an hour. She broke a former world number 1 serve 4 times in one match. Afterwards, Eala said something simple and telling, that she had to stay completely locked in, because she could never count Osaka out. And here is what turned this from a great week into something people cannot stop talking about. This wasn't happening in an empty stadium. American press started calling it Eala Mania. The tournament chairman told reporters that in the month before the event, the ticketing office was fielding the same question over and over: when is Alex Eala playing? Osaka herself, after the match, said she had never experienced a tennis crowd sound the way this one did. 6 top 10 wins in 2026 alone. A player once floating outside the top 100 has now beaten an Olympic gold medalist, a defending champion, and a 4-time Grand Slam winner in the same week, on the same hard courts where her critics said her lack of a big serve would eventually catch up with her. She climbs to a career-high ranking inside the world's top 25 off the back of this run. 2 years removed from 143. And now there is one match left. Standing on the other side of the net, Jessica Pegula. World number 3. The exact player who ended Eala's dream run in Miami in 3 sets, the closest she had ever come before this summer. This time, Eala arrives having already beaten an Olympic champion, a defending champion, a world number 10, and a 4-time major winner just to get there. So here is where I leave you, because I am not going to pretend I know how it ends. Pegula is one of the most dangerous hardcourt competitors on tour right now, and Eala has already spent more hours on court this week than anyone else left in the draw. Fatigue is real, and almost nobody talking about this match is factoring it in. But think about everything you just heard. The identical scoreline against Svitolina. The 3 straight games to close out Osaka. The comeback from 5-1 down against a defending champion. This is not a player getting hot. This is a player who has, somewhere in the last 8 weeks, figured something out, and I do not think we have seen the ceiling of it yet. The question is not whether Alex Eala becomes a top 20 player. On current form, that already looks inevitable. The real question, the one I cannot stop thinking about, is whether top 20 was ever the right ceiling to be talking about for her in the first place. I am breaking down exactly what happens the moment this final is over, win or lose, and going deep into what it means for where she goes from here. If you want to be there when it drops, make sure you are subscribed, because this next video is the one that answers the question this entire story has been building toward. Tell me in the comments what you think happens on Sunday, and I will see you right after the final.